Alright guys, what's going on guys? Welcome back to the channel. Just a quick forewarning. Sorry about the mess that I am right now. Got straight home from work and was cleaning the dirt bike from the race this weekend, and if you can see some of this stuff around me, also excuse that mess. This is our spare bedroom in the house. So all the forewarnings aside, like I said, welcome back to the channel. If you are new, I greatly appreciate you for checking out the channel. If you are old, I greatly appreciate you coming back. Now this is going to be a short, sweet, probably no editing to this video. It's just going to go live how it is, regardless of if I make mistakes or not. So yeah, today is, today is Monday the 8th, January 8th, 2024. Last time I uploaded a video was 2023. So yeah, before that, the last time I uploaded a video I think was 2022. So man, a lot has changed, and I just realized within the past week or so that I never gave you guys an update. So this is going to be a quick, short little update video. I'm going to start probably 2022. 2022 just, it was a great year and a bad year all at once. The local series, FTR, I was able to come away with the championship. But when it came to GNCC, it just seemed like nothing could go right. On the 450, I was racing College B, and it was just a constant up and down. You know, at Big Buck, it was like an 18th. Florida was a 3rd. Then Georgia was like a 15th or 16th, and then Camp Coker I think was another 3rd or 4th, and it was just a constant up and down, and it made me hate racing. Like, I genuinely hated it. I told my dad, we're done. I'm done racing. I'm gonna finish out because FTR wasn't over yet. I told him, I said, we're gonna finish out FTR. I'm gonna get the championship wrapped up, and then I'm done. You know, I can't, or at least on the national level, I can't do it anymore. So of course, this was well before Snowshoe. We had already had Snowshoe booked, non-refundable. We had to go. So we went to Snowshoe, and of course, like all the racers out there, once you go, you just want to get back at it. So I told my dad over the summer, we had already planned on rebuilding the bike, my race bike. I also had a practice bike, planned on rebuilding it. So we started the rebuild. It never got posted on anything social media, but man, it was such a cool bike. So my grandfather unfortunately has Alzheimer's, and it's a pretty severe case, but he started going downhill around the same time. So shout out to Limitless Powder Coatings, Ty English. He found an awesome prismatic powders color, and it's purple until any sort of light hits it, and then it turns blue. Well, if you aren't aware, Alzheimer's awareness colors are purple. So I'm just gonna check to make sure it's still filming, because I rigged up a little bit of a, yep, we're still good. I'm probably gonna check a couple times throughout this, just another forewarning, but just because it's the way I rigged my tripod, it's right on the power button of my phone, so it might shut off at some point. I'm hoping it doesn't, but yeah, so back to the bike. We were rebuilding it, and it came out so good in the end. But one day I was coming back from the chiropractor with my dad. Chuck Frazier called us up. It's like, hey, Brandon wants a 450 to practice on, and I know you just rebuilt yours, and we're about to sell a 4x4. Do you want to work something out? And we worked out a trade deal for it, and that's how I ended up on the 4x4. So started racing the 4x4 at the end of 2022. I still finished out the GNCC season on, because we went to the last 3 rounds. I finished out the GNCC season. No, I didn't. Sorry. I totally forgot my own story. But like I said, this is going to be unedited and raw, so y'all are just going to have to bear with me. So the Burr Oak and the Mountaineer I raced on the 450, and in between the Burr Oak and what would that have been, CJ Raceway, the Buckwheat 100. This was when the deal went down, and so the Buckwheat, I'd ridden it maybe 30 minutes, and we went up to the Buckwheat, raced the 4x4, and just never turned back. So so I finished out the GNCC season, the last 2 rounds on the 4x4, had a blast, and then continued on, got ready for the 2023 season, started out the 2023 season, and I led laps at every single race I was at this year, which to me is very cool. I walked away with 2 wins on the season, ended up 3rd on the championship, because unfortunately at round 6, I believe it is, at the Hoosier, I had, which it's a known issue, and we should have got it fixed beforehand, but hindsight's always 20/20, right? So, and I had a little run-in with a rider on my right-hand side lower A-arm on at the Hoosier, and it bent it. Well, I was not aware. I felt something was off, but I was like, man, you're just feeling things. You just got to keep on pushing through it. Well, I was leading, pushing really hard, and hit a bump, and the lower A-arm just snapped, and I just went end over end. The bars yanked like this as soon as it snapped, which caused me to roll. I landed directly on my head, and it bent my neck like this, and as soon as that happened, I couldn't feel anything. Of course, the bike landed on top of me. I was laying under the bike, couldn't feel anything, and I'm very raw with you guys. I speak my mind, and I speak the truth, and we're supposed to be men, right? In this racing stuff, nothing gets to us, and as I'm tearing up right now, that was the scariest moment of my 14 years of racing. Just laying on the ground, not being able to feel anything. You contemplate in that moment, you just contemplate everything. Is it worth it? Am I doing this? Why am I doing this? I have to show up to work on Monday. I just contemplated everything in that split second. And then I hear this voice. It's a majestic voice. And I hear, "Are you all right?" And, at that point, I'm scared to move. And then all of a sudden, from the grace of God, and fortunately my protective gear, my fly racing helmet, my Atlas neck brace, it just started to come back. I started to be able to feel things again. And I start crawling out from underneath the bike, and I guess my concussed state or whatever was going on, but I wanted to get back out there. I'm like, and I look up, and it's Stu Baylor. Of all people to watch me just crash my brains out, it's Stu Baylor. So I get up, and I'm like, am I good? Can I go? And I'm trying to get back on the quad, and they're like, "No, your A-arm's broke." And I had no idea, man. I didn't know where I was. I didn't know anything. All I knew was that I wanted to get back on the quad and get going, I guess from the adrenaline. And so they're telling me, "No, you can't go." I'm telling them, "Yes, I can." And then I looked down at it and see that it was broken, and then it just hit me. I was like, man, I'm done. So, and all this recollection is coming from being able to watch my GoPro after the race. I have no recollection of the actual event, of that happening. I don't remember about 2 hours after the crash. It never came back. I don't know what happened afterwards other than what people have told me. So supposedly I was able to ride back to the pits. I somehow got lost in the pits. I guess in my concussed state, I didn't know where the heck I was going, so I got lost and managed to make it back to the where my parents were pitting, or where everybody in our group was pitting, and I ran across the track, almost got hit by somebody because I guess I just wasn't paying attention. And so what my parents and everybody around me was saying is that I just kept asking the same 3 questions over and over again. The first one was I leading? And then the other 2, I believe, were something like, can I get back out there? And I can't remember what the third one was, but they just kept telling me that I just kept asking them over and over again for about an hour straight. Was I leading? Was I leading? Was I leading? And, you know, of course I have no recollection of this. And then when I finally started to come to, it was about an hour and a half later, I started to come to, and I just remember asking my dad, I was like, can we at least finish watching the race before we pack up and go home? And he's like, dude, they're on their last lap. Like, what are you talking about? And I just remember looking at him like dumbfounded. And that's when it hit me, like how bad the situation was. I was like, what do you mean they're on the last lap? You know, it's only been 15 minutes since I got back. And he's like, no, you've been here for an hour and a half. And I was like, wow. You know, then it finally hit me. So, yeah, that was a long story long. We ended up getting back here. I took off work for a few days just to recover from the concussion because I had massive migraines for a couple days afterwards, which I believe on Wednesday I was able to get into the doctor. We did MRI, we did an MRI and x-rays, and in doing that we found that the atlas in my what your skull rests on is called an atlas, and it had actually shifted to the right, I believe, and it was resting on my spinal cord, which is why I was paralyzed for a second, and why I was having the constant migraines was because it was just resting on my spinal cord. So I had to wait about 2 weeks before I could get adjusted, and very light duty at work, you know, working on the computer instead of working out back and stuff. And yeah, it was just, and then I finally was able to get adjusted. They got my atlas back in place because I tore some ligaments, so we had to wait a little bit for the ligaments to get healed up before we were able to adjust me properly. So yeah, it was pretty brutal, and looking back on it, like I said, I started tearing up it's just one of them things, you know, and you just got to work through it. I remember I had to miss John Penton just because it was in that period where I couldn't do anything really except for just computer work and stuff like that. And so missed that race. Then I was able to come back for the last two, I believe, or last 2 or 3 before summer break, and it was bad, man. I look back on it and I'm like, man, you were so slow back then. But it was all mental. I constantly felt like I was going to be braking, and that same crash was going to happen again, and all that stuff. So I got over the summer, Brandon and I rebuilt the quad, put a new frame on it. Basically everything on it is brand new except for the motor, transmission, and rear diff. Everything else is brand new. New axles, wheels, tires, spines, frame, gusset kit by Derisi, shocks. Everything was new. And yeah, I just came back and was able to finally get some stuff to click. I was able to click off another win before the season ended. Then I moved up to A at Ironman, and was running third all day behind Caden Wharf and oh Lord, now I can't remember his name. If I can find it, we'll put it up on the screen, but of course I can't remember his name now, but and I don't have my phone to look it up because my dad has my camera, but yeah, you know, sorry I rambled so long about the crash. It's just it's a subject that I like to talk about because it helps me cope with it, I think. But you know, I also want people to know that even if it is bad, you know, those first couple races back, they were bad, man. Like I just couldn't, mentally I couldn't do it. But it gets better. You know, it might take a little bit, but it does get better. I promise you will get back to where you once were, if not better. And but yeah, so enough of that. That's where I've been, and where I'm going is I just bought a new MacBook to be able to edit videos and all that jazzy stuff. I have a camera now so that the quality will hopefully be better. I have about 5 videos just sitting in my editing software and on an SD card ready to go, but I wanted to get this video filmed and out so that, you know, you guys have a little update of where I've been, what I've been up to. I started working full time. I graduated high school last year. I'll be graduating with my 2-year degree this semester. I'm sure you guys have seen my beautiful girlfriend Shaylee that I have with me. We're still together. We just celebrated our 2-year anniversary in November. I sold my Practice 450 to my sister's boyfriend Bryce. He got into racing, so you'll be seeing him in the vlogs now. This past weekend, I did a terrible job at vlogging. It's going to be the Munden Hill race. It's just going to be a GoPro posted for that because all I did was film one clip when we first got there, and then it was just so hectic. I raced the dirt bike and the quad in the same day. The dirt bike race started at 2 o'clock. The quad race started at 3:45. So it was just hectic trying to get everything, you know, ready to go and taken care of. But yeah, I have big plans for next year. I plan on really pushing the social media. It's like I've written to a lot of companies and a lot of outside sponsors from the industry and everything like that. I tell them, of course, I'm a racer. I want to win every race I'm at, but I really want to push this social media this year. I really plan on you know, making content for you guys, being able to support the people that support me, being able to push their brands. You know, we might have some straight up sponsor videos, you know, on the YouTube talking about sponsors and how good they are and you know, their products, some product highlights. And I started a podcast with my uncle. It's called Beyond the Curve Goes Off-Road. They have a Beyond the Curve MX side. Him and I run the Beyond the Curve Goes Off-Road. So I will start linking that in the description below. But I think that's all. And if you guys have any comments, questions, of concerns, you know, sorry again about rambling on about the crash and whatever, but it was a very serious moment in my life earlier this year, so I felt like it was deserved to talk about. But yeah, I'm hoping to get the content start going for you guys, and hopefully be a lot more consistent. So yeah, I greatly appreciate you guys watching. If you feel like it, like, comment, subscribe. You know, I'm never going to be that guy that's like, oh, if you enjoy this content and, you know, blah, 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 make sure you like, follow, subscribe, check out me on social media. I'm never going to be that guy. But if you guys like it and it feels like you want to follow along, make sure you hit that subscribe button. Make sure you turn on the bell, the post notifications, so you know when I upload. And if you feel like it, check out my other social media while you're there. So yeah, I greatly appreciate you guys tuning in, and I look forward to seeing you guys in the next video.